Hi there. I've recently gotten more questions about matrons, patrons, and teacher demons, the differences, how to attract them, how to find them. And I'm going to give you a little bit of advice here. I think I've actually covered this in another video. We've discussed matrons and patrons and teachers, but I don't know necessarily that I've covered it in depth. So this video is about nothing but basically demonolators and some theistic Satanists choose to bring into their life or dedicate themselves to, rather, a patron or a matron demon. Matron if it is a feminine demonic force, patron if it is a masculine demonic force. And basically, that is the demon that complements you. The matron or patron is the demon that guides you. They are basically the one that takes you under their wing and imparts wisdom to you. Now that doesn't mean you can't have a matron or patron and say a teacher demon or some sort of mentor. Mentor demon is another phrase that we use. You can have both. That's not a problem. And don't worry, if you have a mentor and they step up, oftentimes the patron will step back, and then once the mentor's done, they'll step back, and then the patron will come forward again. But first, let's back up here all the way to choosing the matron-patron. I've often told people that choosing the matron-patron isn't so much about choice as it is revelation. And that is because I believe that the demonic force meant to be your matron or patron will reveal itself to you. It will be the one that you keep going back to. It will be the one that is always there watching over you. It will be the one that you are attracted to and you continue being attracted to after working with numerous other demons. I often suggest people work with the demonic for quite some time before making a choice. Choosing a matron or patron is not something to be taken lightly. You can't just go through a book and go, yeah, you know what, Lucifer looks good, let's go. Okay? Really, nobody else can tell you who your matron or patron is. It really is a personal relationship. It is not something that, it's not an arranged marriage, folks. It really is something that you reveal for yourself. I had been working with demons for a couple of years, and as a demonilatress for 1 year, before I finally decided that it was Leviathan. But of course, you also have to remember, I was a theistic Satanist before I was a demonilatress. We called ourselves traditional Satanists back then. That's how long ago this was. And I had worked with Leviathan previously to my work with him as a demonilatress, but for some reason I just kept going back to him. Even after I became a demonilatress and started working with all these other demons throughout hierarchies, and you can use different hierarchies. So many people think you're stuck to a hierarchy, like, oh, I'm working Goetia, I can only work with the 72. I guess it really depends on your personal point of view, but many people I know, solitary demonolators included, not just group people, work across hierarchies, and there's nothing wrong with that. You are more than welcome to do that. It's your personal practice. It's your relationship with the demonic divine. So go ahead and work across hierarchies, and I think you'll find, because before working with the Ducante hierarchy, I tended to work with medieval Christian hierarchies, like the Johann Weyer hierarchy, Binsfeld's Demons of the Seven Deadly Sins, so on and so forth. I mean, and Goetia. I did a lot of Goetic work back then. And all the same, I still ended up with Leviathan after all of that. So, take your time with it. There is no rush to dedicate. You can technically initiate yourself, do a self-initiation, practice demonolatry for years, and then finally choose a matron or patron at a later date. There's no rush. I don't know why everybody's in such a rush to do a dedication. I've never understood that. But take your time with it. Enjoy the process. The process is actually, a really great part of the learning. now let's go on to mentors, because some people will say, well, I need a demonic teacher. Well, I think teachers show up when we need them, but the problem is whether or not the student is actually listening. The problem I often see is that people have really interesting expectations of the demonic. They expect demons to like show up in their living room as clear as you or I and just, you know, say, okay, here's what we're going to do today. Here's the first lesson. That's not necessarily how it works. Different demons have different methods of teaching. Some prefer you to come to conclusions on your own. Some will just smack you upside the head and say, here's the answer, you dumb shit. Can I say shit on YouTube? I guess so. Anyway, so really you need to listen, because demons do not always present themselves shouting or in bright flashes of light. They don't always just, you know, pop into your bedroom at 3 a.m. and go, hey, I'm here. Okay, time to do some work. That's not the way it works. Oftentimes, how it ends up working is it's very subtle, and you're expected to figure things out for yourself. And listen, because they are always talking. It's a matter of whether or not you're listening. And a lot of people don't understand that. But, you know, I think that, you know, the student who is willing to listen is ready for a teacher. The student who is not ready for a teacher won't listen, and they'll know everything. So that's really what it comes down to. So if you're looking for a mentor, don't worry, one is going to find you, but you've got to do the work too. You can't just, you know, go play video games, go out with your friends, hang out, do whatever, and not actually do any work, any spiritual work or any soul-searching work or anything like that. And a lot of that comes in meditation, prayer, and offerings. And of course, magic is not always a part of people's spiritual practice. It is mine, but I have found that as a practitioner of magic, I have had more mentors, more demonic mentors, because magic, as a process of learning about myself and as a process of my spirituality, the magic is a tool to bettering myself, my life, and understanding myself on a different level, and to my attainment of ascension to the demonic divine. So that's something really to consider too. People don't necessarily think that far, I've noticed, when it comes to wanting a mentor. They just want it now. They don't even know what they want to learn, but they want it now. And it's interesting where it will lead you, where the demonic will lead you. So, and sometimes they'll lead you right back to the beginning, and usually there's a reason for that, because sometimes in order to move forward, even say at my stage where I am now after 20 some odd years practicing magic, it's been over 25, I think we're on 26 now. I stopped counting. But anyway, after so many years, sometimes I get led straight back to the beginning. I go back through the beginner material and I find something that I never saw there before. So never underestimate the power of going back to the beginning either. So that's something to consider.